the law tends to side with the custodial parent, which is usually the mom. By the way, nature is set up because the baby was with you from the beginning. You probably need to feed them from your body. But what do you think the baseline is for what constitutes a bad woman or a bad mom? Like, what's the bare, not the extreme, but the bare, like, once you cross this threshold, you enter into being a bad mom.
I think when we talk about extreme, not the extreme, um, I think that I actually want to table this for a second because I have a video. Matter of fact, do y'all want to do the men, or do you want to do the video because it's going to talk about what Marcus is talking about?
So
because it's gonna no. This conversation goes with a video that I have. Okay, so
play the video.
So play the video, and then we can go to the men later. Okay, got you. Because it kind of does both, though. Okay, so it's gonna talk about men. It's gonna talk about this part. So let's stay on one accord, please. When we play the video, it's gonna talk about men, and it's gonna talk about this part. So what we're gonna do is gonna talk about this part first, and then we'll go into the man part. Okay. Could we please be on? Because we'll
start. So I wasn't gonna go into the men. I was gonna answer your question.
Right.
Well. Marcus sticking on the women, but not touching on the men. Right.
So the video is gonna say the same thing he just said. So I just hold it. I want you to keep your thoughts, write it down, and then I want you to, because I want to put some context to what you just said. It's kind of gonna answer your question, but we can talk about it. Okay, a little bit, just a little bit.
Part, you know what? I think a lot of us do say that. Like, you know, most men, especially the men that I know, because I know a lot of guys that were raised without their father in the house, and they say, you know, I'm gonna be a great father, I'm gonna be a great dad. But a lot of them aren't right immediately saying as well, I'm gonna be a great husband.
That's right.
So what's the disconnect there? Like, why do you think that? Why is that disconnect?
Because
there?
they don't even see they've never seen that relationship close up. They've seen, you know, we have 60% of households are raised by single mothers. I call them super single moms because I would never minimize what they do. As a mother with a husband for 40 years, it was difficult raising children. I can't even imagine doing it by myself. So those super single moms who raise those boys, some of them don't do the right thing. Some of them do a lot of the right things and more. And some of them do act as mom and dad the best they can. Mm-hmm. However, what ends up happening is they give a distorted picture of a normalizing family. Why? Because the super single moms will mask sometimes the level of pain it takes, the level of heartbreak maybe she has had to deal with, the level of what she has endured to actually run that household. So we will think it looks easier than it is. So we will see ourselves as optional.
Yeah.
And then the daughters will see themselves as, hey, I can do it all. And so they will actually confirm to that man that, yeah, I got this. And you were like, I guess there's no place for me. But in actuality, there is a place. We just need to have that place.
Okay, so my point in showing that was the end. Let's talk about the end and we'll go next to the beginning part, okay? So when you're saying, so the question was when women do it bad, okay? Well, go ahead, Marcus.
The question was the baseline, not an extreme, of when does a woman cross over into becoming a bad woman or a bad mother? Like, what's the
in the baseline? So the baseline is when she can't control herself. Overly emotional. It's just too much. It could be too much.
I was saying
too much can go to an extreme of things. Start yelling at kids. It's like that stress. Women are not, I don't think that women are designed to take on too much stress. I think that men are better at stress than women are. Okay. And I think that sometimes, and I'm not talking, we're not talking about an extreme of things. We've seen extremes. We're talking about normal, what can happen. And sometimes that stress can come out, me lashing out at the kids because I'm so stressed because I have so many things. And so like, I don't have time. Like, yes, what do you need? You know, it's a frustration because I'm trying to do too many things at one time. And it's like, you don't have time for the kids because you have to be at work, or there are other people who are pulling you because you have to do all of these things to make sure the kids are okay. But they don't understand that. They just want mom. They want you to be, so you may lash out and say things that you wouldn't normally say had you not had been in that stressful situation. And that happens a lot, you know. Because when I agree, some of the things, the reason why I felt like that video was so important, I think a lot of single moms have this thing where we try to make it seem so easy, and it's just not. It's not easy at all. It's not easy at all being a single. I know because I'm a single mom. It is not easy at all. It is a very, very hard task. It's a rewarding one because you love your kids. But that shit is hard as fuck. You know that, Marcus. I see you running around your little kids. Imagine if your wife was in there. It's just, it's hard. And people who act like it's easy, they don't take care of their kids. You can tell a person who don't take care of their kids when they're like, that ain't hard, because you got them on the weekend. You got them twice a week. You know, it's hard. And when people are stressed, they lack, and that's kids. They do that when they're stressed. Adults do it when they're stressed. When you are stressed and you're taking on something, unfortunately, the kid will, and the kid doesn't know that. They just know how they're being treated. That can be a bad experience for kids. And that's why it's important to have two parents in the household. I got you, babe. He, vice versa. It's not one person. It's, yeah.
I would say another thing that contributes to some women being bad moms is when they take the selfishness to the extreme, when their kids aren't put first. Now, I do think it's important as a mother, as a parent, that at times you do have to take time for yourself in order to minimize, like what Shan was saying, the stress factor of always having to be like, you know, on 10 with the kids. So it is important that at times you do put yourself first so you can regroup and come back fresher, you know, with a more calming state where you can deal with your kids. But I think it's where moms turn into bad moms is when that becomes the priority most of the time, where
dropping the kids off at grandmama's house all the time.
I put myself first all the time. I still want to live my life, so they drop them off at granny's house, things like that. I definitely think that you know makes some women a bad mom when you're doing that, when you fail to live up to your responsibility of taking care of your children. And I will also say the emotional aspect of dumping on your kids because you may not necessarily have the help, but then they become the friend, they become the spouse, they become your everything, and they're not there, you know, for that. So I also think that can make you a bad mom as well.
Yeah.
Just one thing I want to add real quick. And I know y'all are probably gonna come at me a little bit, but if the man's not hitting you, if the man's not cussing you out, the man's not hitting the kid, the man is not cussing the kid out, if the man is doing what he thinks he needs to do for the kid, and a woman just puts him out because they're in a bad way, right? Like they don't have money, they broke, she's not living the lifestyle that she thinks that they should live, and she has that mantra, I can do bad all by myself, and she kicks the father of her son or daughter out of the home. I believe that in itself is a baseline for a bad mother as well.
I agree. But
and we see that way too often, I think.
Yeah, but I think the individual, like you can't have, like you can be a good man but cheating all the time. Like it's certain. Let's not just act like people just kicking people out for no damn reason. Like Susie just called 3 times in the middle of the night. Come on, now stop. Put Susie
So
on
you're gonna hate my opinion on this because this is where I agree with you now.
It was a joke.
I know, I understand, but this is where I agree with the Nas. 2 parents are better than one. Why are you putting him like I get it? he's busting something else down. Maybe he, like, again, like, what was my baseline for a bad dude? Integrity and honesty. If dude, like, my thought is, yo, hey baby, I'm sleeping with Monica. I can't control it. Whatever it is, I don't know, because I think we have control over it. But you put him out, and you put him out forever. You make him have to fight for his kid. You know he doesn't have the resources to fight for his kid. That doesn't make you a good mom.
I agree.